In today's fight news, rumor has it that middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis will be taking on former middleweight king Israel Adesanya at UFC 305 in Perth, Australia. While on a recent episode of the Pound for Pound podcast, MMA legend George St. Pierre weighed in on how he would have done against former lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think I would have beat him, because if he would have come to put pressure on me, I would have put him down. I would have had the confidence to try to go for it. I think that I would have had maybe been the first guy that he fought, or one of the only guys that would have tried to put him down, and I've put down everybody that I've fought. In response to GSP's comments, the Eagle Khabib Nurmagomedov had this to say on his Instagram. "I learned from this guy a lot. Even hear he talk about me is so interesting. GSP all day." Recently, on an episode of MMA Arcade podcast, former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker had this to say about his upcoming matchup with Khamzat Chimaev. "I'm in a great headspace to take another hard fight. I'm looking forward to it. Every hard fight pushes my skills to that next level, and this gets me in line to get the belt back. And that's the goal." The Reaper also had this to say. Honestly, he likes to play the villain against these guys, against his opponents, but he's an honorable fighter. We're going to get in there and we're going to have an honest fight. We're both going to leave it in there. He's not a quitter, I'm not a quitter. Former interim lightweight champion Dustin the Diamond Poirier took to X to call for his title shot, stating, "I want that belt." He tagged lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, UFC president Dana White, and the manager of Makhachev, Ali Abdelaziz. Also taking place on X, current light heavyweight champion Alex Poatan Pereira had this to say. "Guys, let's focus on what matters, Jamal. And then I'll focus on breaking another record by making 2 title defenses in the shortest time possible." Pereira's UFC 300 dance partner, former light heavyweight champion Jamal Hill, also tweeted on X, "Potards. Glover training Alex is a huge advantage." Also Potards. "What could Hill learn from Izzy about fighting Alex? Bro, you can't make this up." UFC superstar, the notorious Conor McGregor, recently spoke to TNT Sports about his future with MMA, stating, "I don't really feel like I could ever call it a day until I'm laid out flat, and that's it, in a box, and I'm going down into the ground. That's when I'll call it a day." After being disqualified and promptly cut from the UFC, former UFC flyweight Igor Severino recently took to MMA Kings to say that he apologized for what he had done, stating, "That's not who I am." While on a recent episode of The Schmo, former middleweight champion Sean Strickland had a message for the current champ, Dricus du Plessis. "Win your title like a man, my friend. You know you got a gift from God. Let's run this back and settle it like men." The former champion also took to X, writing, "The UFC fans want me and Dricus to settle it. Dricus wants to settle it. We all know I fought in a dirty liberal country who effed me. Dana knows it, the UFC knows it." In capital letters, he wrote, "If it was anyone else on the roster, the rematch would have happened. Do the right thing, UFC." On a recent episode of his YouTube channel, current bantamweight champion Sugar Sean O'Malley spoke on how a fan showed up at his door. "I was walking around my property a couple of nights ago because I saw this car outside. Walking around with my pistol loaded, ready. I was in a mindset. My family's at my house. It's not a game. They think, oh, he's rich, he's got money, I'm ready to kill. So I was just walking around out there with my AR. I'm walking around with my pistol." Per WrestleVotes, NXT Battleground will take place at the UFC Apex on June 9th. This shows the merger between the WWE and the UFC is in full effect. We'd like to take a second to congratulate former lightweight king Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira after he recently announced that he's going to be having a baby boy. Lastly, we end the show with a couple fight announcements. Per Team Iridium ISA, bantamweights Brad Katana and Jesse Butler will be facing off at the June 8th UFC event. Also on the same June 8th card, we have bantamweights Cody Stamann taking on Taylor Lapilus.